It wasn't just the season finale that was great, the entirety of this season was great. What's up, YouTubers of the world? MegaGeekMixer here to give you guys my review on the season finale of Black Lightning. Guys, what a season finale. Way to conclude things. Salim Akil, you done it again. You are amazing, man. The way you set things up, the breadcrumbs you left for us going into season 4, that was something right there. But also, and how you concluded some of the stories for some of the people in season 3 was great as well. But most of all, once again, you had so much to juggle with to conclude for the season finale it made it another one of these episodes that is almost impossible to be good, but you did it, man. You, the writers, every one of you guys who were behind the scenes, who made the season finale, did it. The actors, the writers, everyone, my hat's off to you. What an amazing way to end a great season. As a matter of fact, I'm not gonna lie, I think I put this as my #1 season of Black Lightning. Now I'm only saying that because I need to rewatch seasons 1 and seasons 2 to get a proper ranking. But if I'm to rank right now, I put it at season 3, season 1, and then season 2. Bear in mind, I like all the seasons, but if I'm going in rankings, that's how it goes. But I am curious to know, what is your guys' favorite season? What's your ranking of the seasons? Leave them in the comment section down below. I'd love to know. But seriously, guys, I don't really know where to start, but I guess the best way to start off is by saying goodbye to a major character who will not be back in season 4. So they killed him off at the end of the finale, and that is none other than Bill Henderson. Great man all throughout the seasons from 1, 2, and 3. He showed what it is to be a police officer, not just against the gangs of Freeland, but against the ASA. It was truly something to see. And the guy who played as Bill Henderson, I'm sorry I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he did a great job as the actor. And I'm glad that if they couldn't give him a big send-off, they gave him a bit of a send-off in the way of being a chief of police department of Freeland when he protected Black Lightning and Lightning from Markovian soldiers who were about to shoot those two. Nope, he wasn't about to have it. He knocked out all of those soldiers, but unfortunately, he got knocked out as well. But it did leave us off on a good note with seeing him and Jefferson Pierce have a moment in his final moments of living. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I did break into some tears because the scene right there, the acting in that spot, done beautifully by Cress Williams and the guy who plays as Bill Henderson. Beautifully done, and the music to it was even more effective. It just made me cry. It was so beautiful. I just really couldn't handle it. Or better yet, I could. It's just really emotional is all I'm saying. But going on in, let's also get back into the main antagonist of this season being Gravedigger. And here's the thing, the main antagonist was really Markovia, ASA, Agent Odell, but it was, let's not lie, Gravedigger was the one to really make the mark on season 3, especially at the ending. How he just appeared in the last 4 episodes and the major impact he made was done beautifully. Wayne did an amazing job at this guy, but what I think I really liked in this moment of the episode was when him and Jennifer had a moment to talk as he captured her and brought her to a hideout. And then they both were talking about their opinions on how things are in America, considering how though Gravedigger lived back in the time of what's the best way to put it here? I'm trying to say it so I won't offend anybody, but you guys at least know what I'm trying to say here. Back in the time when blacks were still oppressed, and even though we're still oppressed to this day, we're not oppressed as much as Gravedigger was, because Gravedigger, he lived in a time where it was worse for us. But as time went on, things have changed, and Jennifer lives in that time where things have changed. But she still acknowledges what happened to blacks back in the past, but she also acknowledges some of the blacks who have made history for us, going into what you could say a Black History Month moment right there, where she knows what's going on, and that, well, Gravedigger, well, let's be honest, his anger to the U.S. government, it is justified, but his methods are just all wrong here, when you can't disagree with that. But what I also loved about this scene is that it showed that, yes, while Jen is still a typical hot-headed, stubborn teen, she is at least showing that she can she's level-headed herself to know what's right and what's wrong here. And it showed when she was talking to this guy. And not to mention, after that little reckless move she made at the end of last episode, she showed that, yeah, she learned from her mistake, and she was this time following her father's orders more better this time. That just goes to show that, yeah, it may have been reckless of Jen to do that. I mean, don't get me wrong, her reasonings were justified. It was coming from a good place. But hey, sometimes you need to have that bad experience to make you learn a lesson to better prepare yourself going forward in the future. And that's exactly what happened when it came to Jen. And speaking of which, she also had another encounter with Gravedigger. This time, though, she had help from none other than Brandon. That's right, guys. Brandon actually came back. And while we're on the subject of him, I never trusted this kid from the beginning. Not because of who his character was as the series kept going on, but because I thought he was a spy of Odell. In the end, I was wrong about that, but I still have a hard time trusting him, and we all started to see why, because he has major anger issues and wanting to kill Dr. Jace. And in last week's episode, he put that ahead of what happened of Markovia attacking Freeland. But when it came to finding out Jen was in trouble, he had a change of heart, which doesn't surprise me right there. Because when you think about this kid, he's an orphan. He didn't have anybody. So it makes sense that he only cares about revenge and everything. But through all his time with Jen, it's allowed him to finally find a connection and a friend he can care about, which is what brought him back and what made him actually work with Jefferson to rescue Jen, but also to team up with Jen and use their powers together. Lightning and earth mixed together created lava. I think that was a little Easter egg callback to Geoforce, whose powers are Earth-based, but he's able to make lava blasts and everything like that. But also, what's going to happen now, though, when he finds out that Dr. Jace is dead? Yeah, while he was away, an ASA soldier, the guy named William, who's able to copy people's powers, had showed up, and he killed Dr. Jace. And he tried to kill Lynn, and this was all due to Agent Odell trying to make them cut off loose ends in Freeland. But Lynn was prepared and took care of Williams, and now asks for Dr. Jace, though. Let's be honest, guys. Now that his revenge is gone, what's going to happen to this Brandon character now? It's set up something very interesting for him going into season 4. Now that Jace is dead, who knows what's going to happen with him. I still think he'll find out about his father and stuff. Just wonder how this will go. Could maybe his father be a member of the gangs? Maybe. And speaking of the gangs, I know Lala denied helping the Pierce family, but in the end, when Lady Eve was having a negotiation with Agent Gray in the underground tunnels, she found out that they were going to nuke Freeland. And when she found that out, she relayed the message to Lala. And that was the thing that got Lala to understand that, yeah, I am not about to let anybody nuke my city. And man, did he arrive in a heroic way. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not saying what he did makes him a hero. It was more of a business move, you could say, or a selfish move, whichever way you want to look at it. But it doesn't change the fact that when he showed up, it was a great scene to behold. citizens of Freeland, no matter their gangs or regular citizens trying to have a regular life, they were all had a common goal at that moment, and they all worked in unison together. It was a true sight to behold. And yeah, even got a nod from Lala and Henderson as an acknowledgement or thank you for helping out. So that was definitely a great moment right there. But what else do we got to go on? Oh, yes, Agent Odell. Guys, let's face it, this guy I have not liked from the very beginning, ever since he was introduced in season 2. Don't get me wrong, I mean, he's an agent of the government and stuff, and he is willing to do some despicable things for and the safety of his country and all, but some of the things he was doing was making me be like, this isn't for the safety of the country, this is just you being pure evil. And that are no, maybe pure evil is the wrong word to use, but just basically everything he did was like evil, the definite grounds of evil. And yeah, you can compare him to Amanda Waller, but the only difference between him and Amanda Waller is that I actually like Amanda Waller. Why? Because her demeanor, her presence gives off sure seriousness, but she is able to add some humor in herself with her face expressions and the way she talks. Well, with Odell, it was just like he was a dead and everything, and that's why I just couldn't get behind him. Now, bear in mind, as the season went on, he started to show a little more quirky, little more humorous stuff to him. Dark humor, might I add, but it's still that it was enough to make me like him a little bit, but not that much. And all I can say is, in the end, justice for Khalil. And because Khalil ended up getting the justice he needed on Odell, because at the end, when Odell was trying to leave, realizing that Markovia won and he needs to escape, Khalil was waiting right there for him. And yeah, we thought he was going to be killed. But to be honest with you, what happens to Odell in the end? I was all fine for that, because in the end, Jefferson was able to talk Khalil and maybe not into killing him, but Khalil still wanted revenge, so he shot him in the back in places where he wouldn't die instantly or anything. Just be left with maybe, what's that, major blood loss or something like that. But all we knew was he was alive at the end, and he was finally going to be persecuted for all the crimes he committed. Because in the end, at the end of the episode, the Jefferson and his entire family went to trial for everything the ASA has done. But before getting into that, I must mention Anissa and Grace. They had a moment to shine when trying to face Gravedigger. Unfortunately, though, Gravedigger made Grace fight Anissa, but it did give us a little Easter egg callback to Cheetah, the arch enemy of Wonder Woman. As you know, Grace is able to turn into a leopard. Well, in that fight scene which she had with Anissa, instead of morphing into a leopard, she was able to make a mixture of a hybrid of a leopard. Almost like a devil fruit user from One Piece with the zone powers, and they're able to go hybrid from half human to half animal. Very cool. Unfortunately, though, the battle made Anissa had to go on the defense that in the end, she put her fiance into a coma. So going into season 4, we'll see how Anissa's going to handle this, and we'll see how long is it until Grace is going to wake up. But I'm sure there's still more we're going to learn about Grace's powers going forward into season 4, and I definitely can't wait for that. I've been really loving the scenes between her and Anissa throughout season 3. But now it's time to get into the final, where it all ended for the ASA and set up for season 4 as things get back to normal in Freeland, where gangs are trying to do business and Freeland citizens are trying to fight back against these gangs. And that is in the fact that Jefferson and his entire family went to court trial against the ASA and revealed everything the ASA had been doing, like a rogue black ops of the government that I'm sure, yes, the government knew of, but who knows, they probably thought it was erased or something. I don't remember all the details because this all dates back to season 1, guys. So who can say they can remember all that right off the top of their head right now? But all that aside, knowing that he had the briefcase and right there standing all those judges which, by the way, if you guys have been watching movies that are comic book related, you know right now they've been famous for introducing us to some famous people who were the major influence behind some of these characters, and that's exactly what we got when we were introduced to Tony Isabel and Trevor Von Eder. Yes, those two were two of the many judges on that court who were sitting right next to the woman who was in the center. And man, when I saw that, I was just like, no freaking way. I just was speechless when I saw that, but it was beautiful to see that. I was just like, that's the way you end a season like Black Lightning, a season that's been on fire since season 1. I have been loving every minute of it. Sure, there are still some plot holes here and there that they haven't concluded, such as that news girl. I forget her name off the top of my head, but at the beginning, she was speaking on her camera and then she was shot. Is she dead or something? I don't know. I hope we get an answer to that. And also, when Khalil was able to take control of himself back, when Painkiller had taken control of him from last episode, instead of being in that hallway where Khalil was supposed to have been stuck inside that firewall, instead, he appears out of nowhere behind Painkiller inside a training room. I know this is all in their head, but I wish they could have let us explain more on how they got to that point. How did Khalil get there? But either case, that's pretty much everything. Oh, almost, I forgot one more other thing. Tobias Whale. So as you guys know, they did rescue Tobias, but they weren't able to bring him back to Freeland, and he stayed in Markovia for a time. But now that he's seen on the news that things are good in Freeland, he's going back to Freeland, and I can bet you we're going to have something like a Devil Reborn for season 4, because he knows Black Lightning's secret, he knows who Thunder and Lightning are, so you can bet that yes, it's going to get real personal with Black Lightning and Tobias Whale going forward, especially since he's even got his eyes on going after Dr. Lin. And somehow he's seeming to like he's going to use her to be able to become the king of Freeland, at least with the underworld. I have no idea what's going to come, guys. All I just know is, guys, beautiful season. What a way to end it. I was just in love with everything we had here. I couldn't tell you how much awesome it was. Oh yes, I almost forgot. Let's not forget that Gravedigger is still alive too. Yeah, he fought Black Lightning at the beginning and displayed multiple powers, some of which we're familiar with, like Supergirl's heat vision, Black Canary's canary cry, many of them out there actually. But in the end, while Jefferson and Lynn, as a matter of fact, Lynn and Jefferson together beat Gravedigger, husband and wife united, take out a major enemy. But they didn't kill him, because when they thought they left him for dead in the pit during that trial, he was there just in disguise, showing that in season 4 that this family feud's still gonna go on. And I can't help but think Gravedigger will join forces with Tobias Whale to get his revenge on Jefferson Pierce. Oh, I can't wait for that. It's gonna be something right there. And you know what? There are still many other things I haven't talked about, but I think I might save those for another video. Like such as Lynn, she's still an addict, she's still on that green light, and in the fact they mentioned Gotham City and everything. But I'm just going to stop right there, guys. I've gone on for long enough, but definitely tell me, what did you guys think of this episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What was your pros? What was your cons? Leave them all in the comment section down below. And until then, if you're enjoying my videos, all you got to do is click that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to be notified when I make more videos. And until then, MegaGeekMixer signing out. Bye!